can. Welcome to another episode of the Quarantine Leadership Series. I'm here with a great leader in North Carolina, President and CEO of Highland Brewing Company, Leah Ashburn. Leah, thanks for being with us today.
Hello, it's my pleasure.
Yeah. So tell us, how is the pandemic? Well, I want to back up. She and I first were in discussions and getting to know each other early in the year. I was trying to arrange getting Leah in front of our Y group at some YMCA meetings and talk about leadership. And then the world blew up and the pandemic started. And so we put those on hold, but I'm gonna get you in front of us when we get back to some normalcy. But how is Highland Brewing adjusted, and how have you fared during this pandemic?
We've adjusted in so many ways, of course. And I remember earlier on that my first messages to my company were about keeping the staff safe. So safe, working, and paid was what I kept repeating. I was really focused on the fact that we have different people. You know, some of them have to come to work to make beer. And if we don't make beer, we don't have any income. So that's one piece of the puzzle. And then we've got sales teams, folks that are out in the market. And it was not a good time to be out in the market. Everybody was terrified to go anywhere. Then we have hospitality folks who would be interacting with the public if we were open, and we were closed for that 2.5 month period. Then we've got administrative folks who could telework, and navigating who kind of gets to do what was really interesting. And so we addressed different groups differently, and had to. I think it was smart for us to consider groups differently, make accommodations in different ways for different groups, whether that meant somebody was working outside their department, or they were told that it was okay to stay home, even though their job is usually to be, feet on the street. So we made all those accommodations for our staff and communicated often. We also made infrastructure changes before we reopened to the public. So we put thousands of dollars into building sinks. So we've got freestanding sinks in all of the public areas, inside and out, sanitizer everywhere, signage everywhere, some one-way traffic, things like that. So, and changing some of our events, whether that meant canceling or just reimagining the whole thing. And that was the biggest case of that was Cold Mountain, which we just did last week to great success.
So has any part of your business gone up during this?
Our grocery store sales have gone up. They've been very healthy. Then on the converse, you've got the bars and restaurants, which has been really hurt badly. And then we've got our events business, which has been basically decimated. So the weddings and so forth. So the gains are good, but they don't cover the losses. I'm really feeling fortunate that we're going to be okay. It's just going to be different. Our model will be different going forward. We can navigate it. And I'm really glad for that, because times are a lot tougher for a lot of other folks.
Yeah. As I've watched Highland Brewing, and as I've researched Highland Brewing over the years, I've been impressed on your website that you talk about fun and collaboration and being innovative and creative, also building community. Has it been fun, or how are you keeping it fun and energetic?
Oh gosh. I think every day is different. Sometimes I feel really COVID heavy days, and it does get to me. And what can be really refreshing is coming into the office and seeing how much creativity and spirit and energy is going behind all aspects of our business, even in tough times. So I think we lift each other up at different times. Sometimes you need the help, sometimes you offer the help to other people. And so staying connected in safe ways has been important. Having our staff hang out, they like to hang out here after work. They've already been here all day, and then they choose to have a beer here. And that makes me feel so good. And they're all just smart and engaged. And we just have this wonderful team. So kind of seeing them interact, and even as I police and tell them 2 arms lengths, like 6 feet, it's gotta be 6 feet. What you do outside of Highland, I'm not going to comment on, but at work, we are not going to go down by associating too closely and having a team of people get sick. So everybody stays separate all the time.
You sound a lot like YMCA, especially we've been having the same conversations, doing a lot of the same things. We like to be together. And so that's been the hard part, is you don't congregate in offices like we used to. And we don't play, as much as we used to. And so the video doesn't seem to satisfy it the way we used to be. And so, but they still congregate. And we're filming this and taping this right before Thanksgiving. So that was a little bit of my speech this morning was, hey, everybody be safe. But on Monday, we got to just make sure we're distant, just to be safe next week when we come back, because we don't want an outbreak among staff. What's
Right.
going on. How do you not bring the stresses of running such a large business home to spouse and kids?
I am the absolute worst person to ask this question to. I set a terrible example. If you want to know what not to do, this is perfect. So I don't know if everybody knows, but so my father's the founder of Highland, and he's still here every day. He loves this place and is energized by it. And I love having him here, and everybody loves having him here. So I got my dad, then me as acting president and CEO, and then my husband. I tricked him to working here full time for a lot less money. He is our VP. He is also an engineer and a general contractor. So anything that we've built in the past 5-6 years, he built, from the packaging hall to the rooftop bar to the volleyball courts that we just finished a couple of months ago. So we do bring it home, and it's tough. We get it's easier to think sometimes when we're not in the office. So we end up doing our thinking and our talking when we're not here.
Yeah.
And the breaks that we do take are really important for us. So we physically go somewhere else for a couple of days. And when this is our personal decision, I have found that some travel, a driving distance travel to an Airbnb, we can do that just as safely as we can be at home. And so we have grabbed onto a couple opportunities to do that. And that sort of different brain space and a different physical space is really helpful for us.
Yeah. Do they, how have they coached you, dad, spouse, husband? How have they coached you during all this?
My dad's a really good coach because he's so good at having a great time wherever he goes, and he can kind of separate when he's gonna be working and when he's playing, and he plays a lot. And but my husband is pretty bad about it. So I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Brock will work all the time, and I gotta pull him out of that and yank him into some kind of plan that I've made, something fun to do. So I like to make plans. I like to make sure that fun things are going to happen. And so creating time for that, whether it's a mountain bike ride or playing volleyball or a hike and then a stop at a local brewery, all that stuff, I make sure to get it on the calendar so we have that kind of break.
Yeah. Y'all were kind of if not, they're the kind of creator of this Asheville beer community. I mean, was that the plan, or was it just, hey, we're going to make us a few beers and go? But I mean, it's exploded there.
Yeah, it was closer to the latter, Cameron. You make a good point, because my dad had no idea that Asheville would be a beer mecca on the East Coast. So we thought there'd be a handful of breweries, and that handful happened really quickly. And then the other, 30 or so in Asheville came in the last few years. So it's been a remarkable change in the community and also in our company. He didn't imagine that we would have a huge hospitality element to our business. He didn't maybe picture the sophistication of our sales efforts and our marketing and the breadth and depth of our beer portfolio, which is so exciting. So all of it has gone maybe beyond his imagination, not because he's limited in that, but because he had the hard work of starting it. And I have the hard work of continuing it and kind of seeing the next era of the company, which is a great honor.
Yeah. Anything innovative coming out of this in the beer community, out of COVID? What's next?
Well, we're all trying to navigate winter as everybody else is. And so how do you have safe public spaces in the winter is a key piece. We've got a couple of tents on site right now. Local company Diamond Brand, who is so wonderful. They set up a few tents, and we're just kind of seeing how interested folks are in renting a tent and having their own kind of outdoor space with a little light and a little heat in there. And then we're thinking of ways, can we heat the deck? And we're having people inside. We just did this electrostatic cleaning process. So navigating winter is a huge thing. Most of our beer sales, though, are in grocery stores outside of our on-site. And that's not really apparent for maybe some local folks, but is true. So how do we make enough beers and the right beers and keep the supply up, which means keeping people safe and healthy so they can work and get paid. So we've got to continue that supply, and that's been a great focus. We've done that really well through the pandemic, and not everybody's been able to do that. So we got to keep those Gaelic shelves full. We've got new beers coming, so that's sort of the innovation piece you were asking about.
How far, what's your distribution reach? How far?
We're in 4 1/4 states. So the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, and a part of Virginia, Southwestern Virginia.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm gonna turn around. I don't know if people can see, I got a little product placement there over my shoulder. What's your favorite Highland beer?
I am a totally mood-based drinker, and I'm really proud of it. So I think there's a right beer for every time. Sometimes it's Gaelic, sometimes it's one of the pilot brews, sometimes it's Rising Haze, but I really do go all over the map.
Yeah, that's good. What's your top seller? What goes off the shelves fastest?
Well, it's interesting because the top seller is Gaelic Ale, still our flagship, but our fastest growing style is Rising Haze.
All right.
And that's the one we introduced during the pandemic.
All right. Other than Highland, so people can get to know you, other than your business and the Highland beer, what's been your go-to drink during the quarantine?
Okay, don't judge me, but it's been tequila.
That's great. That's what we need to know. That's what we need to know. Well, I appreciate you loaning and spending some time with us and letting the community get to know you. I encourage everybody to at least spend some time on their website and just see. They do a great job with community and supporting Asheville. We need to get you involved with YMCA's more and to our Y community. As we're going to get Leah in front of us as soon as the world gets back to some normal, so we can just talk more leadership and share. And for everybody watching, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, if you watch this, I'm gonna put you in a raffle, and Cam's going to personally deliver some Highland Brewing to you as some of the door prizes. But Leah, thanks for spending time with us, and I hope we get to spend more time together soon.
Thank you. I wish the same, and I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving holiday.
You too. Thank you.
Cheers.